Gavel is the most powerful document automation system for lawyers. It includes features like client intake, a client portal, and much more directly in the platform. This video is a quick run-through of the basic document automation features. First, I'll show you a live workflow that can be shared with your team or clients. Then I'll show you how we can create a workflow. A workflow is a set of questions that generates a set of documents. In this example, I'm filling out a probate workflow where different questions will show or hide depending on my answers to previous questions. We can customize the conditions that show or hide these different questions in our builder view. Once I complete all the different questions that I have set up for my specific document sets, I'll be able to generate all of the different documents that are relevant for this probate matter. I'm going to review my answers here, say continue, and now all of these documents are ready for me to review them and file them when they need to go. I can review them individually. If I want to download all of them as a zip file, I can do that here. I can also have them emailed to any email address I want them to go to, which could also be a variable. If I open up the zip file of all of the different documents that were generated from this process, I'll be able to review them before submission. I've got my small estate administration bond, my petition to open a small estate, and every other document that is relevant to this specific matter. Gavel's document automation system is so powerful that it is not limited by practice area or jurisdiction. Let's now go over how we create workflows. Simply log into your Gavel dashboard, click on New Workflow, and then you have the option to start with questions, start with documents, or select a legal template. Legal templates are workflows that you can request that have already been pre-built out with different packages of documents for different jurisdictions and practice areas. If you'd like to create your own bespoke workflow based on your own master templates, you can either say start with questions or start with documents. What this allows us to do is to upload documents, both Word and PDF, to turn those into this automated questionnaire that will fill out those documents and generate them at the end. Gavel is putting on its lawyer hat, looking at your documents and pulling out the different areas where things might repeat or be ripe for automation. It's going to suggest different questions and variables that you can use in your document, or you can accept or reject them. I can edit these question details by toggling this on here. In this case, for example, I might want to change this to a date question, and similarly here for a date question as well. Let's move now to our Word document in this example. I can update the question. So I can say, for example, I don't need this to say as is stated in the header section, and I can update this variable name as well. It's also recognizing there are two instances of borrower name in this document, here and here. And it's consolidating that into a single question for the questionnaire where you answer it once and it will populate across the entire document. Once we're satisfied with all of the different suggested questions, we can say draft workflow. This takes us now over to our builder view where we can do things like move pages around, move questions around from page to page. We can also add new pages, questions, and sections, and do so much more. For example, let's add a new page here. Move it to the top, call it client information. I'm going to add a question here that is going to be a single select question type. I'm going to have the question be, what is the client's marital status? I'll give it a variable name of client marital status, single and married as my choices. I can start using this to add conditions around pages and questions that relate to that client's spouse's information. I can say add page logic here to say that if client marital status is married, then show this page, or hide this page if marital status is single. We can similarly add logic to questions with the same process, and which document templates get generated at the end by switching over to tab 2 document templates, where I can go under the logic section and say, always show the caregiver authorization affidavit, but only generate the anti-coercion insurance disclosure if the answer to marital status is married. Additionally, we can add logic within our documents. So I'm going to go ahead and download this here. We'll select which workflow I want to use the variables from. For example, if I want this entire section to only show when a certain condition is met, I can say show paragraph when the answer to client marital status is married. And I can say insert that condition. I can say select a document to replace find which one I want to replace and say update in Gavel. When I run this document the next time, this condition within this document will be considered, and this paragraph will only show if I said that the client's marital status is married. If we run this workflow from the beginning, I can say single, fill out the rest of the information, review my answers and edit them if I need to, and say continue. I can see that only one document was generated because I have logic saying only show the second one if I said the person was married. In this case, this person is single. Therefore, I'm only going to see this one document output at the end with the different answers and inputs that I put within the questionnaire. We've only scratched the surface for how you can use Gavel workflow to automate the generation of multiple documents at once, even with complex conditions and calculations within your document. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions at hello@gavel.io. Start your free trial today at gavel.io.